I'm Sophie Bannister. I work for Enterprise Mobility and I've worked here for coming up to 8 years. It'll be 8 years next month. So I started as a graduate on the management training program, which we're going to be talking about today. And I've now worked in the talent acquisition team for around just over 4 years. So I worked my way up through the management scheme on the graduate program. I worked my way up into management, as majority of the people do within the company. And then I moved over to the talent acquisition team around halfway through my career so far. So I cover the Northwest, being in Manchester, and I'll be going to all the different universities in the Northwest and kind of letting people know who we are and building our brand and things like that. So some of you even may have seen me before. And then we've got the fantastic glamorous assistant, which is Keeley. So Keeley, do you want to give a bit of an intro as well?
Yeah, of course. I'm Keeley Cox. I'm an assistant manager at Enterprise Mobility in Crewe at the moment. I started off as an intern with the internship program, doing a placement year at uni in my third year. Completed my internship, went part-time throughout doing my third year, graduated. As soon as I graduated, became an assistant, and then now I'm on my second assistant manager job at the moment.
Amazing. So next steps, I'm assuming for you would be branch manager.
By the end of the year, definitely.
Fab. Love it. Goals, you've got to have them. So that's a little bit about us, and I'll be leading the presentation today, but I'm going to be asking for little hints and tips from Keeley along the way. If anyone has any questions for Keeley, being a little bit more relevant than me, I suppose. I've done the grad scheme, but it was a while ago. So Keeley might be able to give you some really good insights as to what the role's like now, today, what a day to day's like, what the recruitment process is like, as Keeley will have done it a lot more recently than I will have done. So yeah, so if anyone has any questions, just remember to put them in the Q&A function and we'll get to them at the end. So I'm going to give you a brief overview of the company. Some of you on this call might know who we are. Others might really not know much. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of information to start with. So at a glance, it's worth noting that Enterprise Mobility is a global business. It's not just in the UK, but we were actually founded in the 1950s in North America, in St. Louis, by a family. So one guy, Jack Taylor, had an idea, decided to kind of go into car leasing, and then years and years later we are now at this level. So some really impressive stats on the screen for you to see there. A global annual revenue of 35 billion, which is just unreal. We've got over 90,000 employees across the globe as well. We're present in over 90 countries and territories as well. So not just North America and the UK, but loads and loads of other ones as well. Some of you might have seen us in airports if you've been on holiday and that kind of thing. We've got over 9,500 global rental branches as well. And just to put that in perspective, just in the UK, we have over 470 branches just in the UK alone. So when you think about the scale and the locations and kind of that kind of thing, you can really go anywhere in the UK. You're not kind of just fixed on big cities and things like that. You can actually get local opportunities that mean that you don't have to commute very far if you don't want to. We have a global fleet size, and that's talking about maybe how many vehicles we have as part of our company, of over 2.3 million. And we've got over 300 makes and models of vehicles as well, which is some crazy stats there that I just wanted to highlight. It just helps you with that kind of understanding of how big this company actually is. And I don't think many people realize until you hear something like this, or you join the company and you start to see all of the different branches, all the different vans as you're driving around, you'll see our name everywhere. So yeah, it's a very big family owned still to this day business, and lots of opportunities as well. So some of you may have never heard of Enterprise Mobility before, and that's because it's a relatively new brand for us. So actually, we've only gone by that name since November 2023. So it's still less than a year. You might have known us before as Enterprise, or you might have heard of Enterprise Rent-A-Car. That's one of our more well-known brands. However, the reason we decided to rebrand was because actually we do so much more than just rent cars, which I think a lot of people assumed that that's all we did. So we've decided to go under this new name and have all of the different business lines that we have kind of underneath that big umbrella company name, which is Enterprise Mobility. And all of those other companies that we have are listed here below. So you've got Enterprise, which you will have seen probably, National and Alamo, which you'll have seen at airports. There's some of the acquisitions that we made a few years ago. We've got Integral, which is actually a tech solutions company that we now own. So we don't just do car rental and car leasing and everything like that, but we actually work in the tech industry as well. We've got 2 tech companies that we own, Integral being one of them. We have a fleet management business. We actually have an exotics car collection as well. We've got one in the north of England in Runcorn. We've got one in the southeast as well. We've got Enterprise Truck Rental over in the North America. We've got a Flexi Rent over in the UK, which is our commercial vehicles kind of brand. And that we rent everything from big refrigerated lorries to golf buggies for festivals. We'll rent everything, like anything that you can think of that a customer might need, we would be able to get our hands on. And that's, long-term leasing that they can have over years and years at a time. We've got Enterprise Car Share, which is again an American thing. We've got car sales, and we've also got Enterprise Car Club. And if any of you live in a bigger town or city, you might have seen these cars dotted around outside train stations, outside your university building, and they're available to rent by the hour. So we really cover everything from hourly rental to daily rental to yearly leasing and everything in between as well. So a lot more than meets the eye. And that's why we've kind of decided to change our brand so we can have these conversations with people. But that also means there's a lot of opportunity to grow your career as well. You might start off in Enterprise Rent-A-Car, but you might end up moving to Enterprise Flexi Rent, for example. And there's so many moves and side steps and up steps and things like that that you can do along your career as well. So hopefully that's give you a bit of an insight into who we are and what we offer to our customers. And I'm now going to touch upon our values, because not only are these the underpinning of every decision we make as a business, as individuals that work for Enterprise, but they're also really, it's important for every candidate in our process to understand what these values are, make sure that they align with your own values and things like that as well. So these are our 8 values, and obviously there's a lot more we value as a company, but we've kind of drilled it down to these 8 things that are super, super important to us. And I've not got time to go through all of them, unfortunately, but I'm going to pick on a couple, and Keeley, I might pick on you to kind of talk about your favorite value as well. But I'm going to mention, what should I mention? I'm going to go with our organisation is fun and friendly, a place where teamwork rules. And the reason I'm going for this one is because very recently we teamed up with a university in the Northwest, and we did a sponsored football match. We got their football team at the university, and we had an Enterprise team, and we raised loads of money for children in need. And we had Pudsey the Bear there, who happens to be on this call, who helped us out. And we raised loads and loads of money, and it was just such a fun environment. And that's not the only time that kind of thing happens. We make sure it's fun and friendly on a day-to-day basis, and you're not just there to work, do your job and go home, but it's actually about all the fun little things that you can do as part of that role, and impacting kind of fits in with the strengthening communities value as well, because we're constantly wanting to be out in our local communities, strengthening those relationships we have with people, strengthening our neighbourhoods, and making sure that we're seen as a responsible corporate citizen as well. Keeley, I'm wondering, have you got a value that maybe I've not touched upon that you really, really like?
You just took the words out of my mouth.
I'm sorry.
My favourites there. Yeah, so I'd definitely say we work hard and we reward hard work. So I've worked so hard throughout my internship, and it's all paying off. I mean, we had an internship competition. We got sent down to the head office in Egham, near London. And the prizes there, you could win 5 grand, 2 grand, 1 grand. So you work hard, you show that you work hard, and you get so much reward out of it.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth it.
For sure. And you're being modest there by saying you get sent down to head office. You actually won your regional competition to get sent there, and there was only 7 in the UK. And to put that in perspective, that we had, I think that year that you were in that top 3, I think we had about 350 interns, and you made it to the top 3. So that was amazing. But yeah, we've got so much like kind of reward, haven't we? Making sure, obviously, we want people that are driven, that are going to work hard, but making sure, obviously, you're not doing it for nothing, and you're going to get promotions, and you're going to get all of these different things as well. Kind of following on from the value I picked up on with kind of the strengthening communities and things like that, we have a lot of different initiatives that we make sure we're kind of giving back to communities and things like that. Now we have lots of these, and again, I've not got time to go through all of them, but I'm just going to pick a couple of these that you know, we're doing so much in that space. And again, you wouldn't necessarily know this, but you can find more information on this on our website if anyone did have any questions. So just to pick maybe the first 2, we've got the Fill Your Tank initiative, which we basically partner with lots of local food banks, and we basically give our time, our money, everything to kind of making sure that we're giving back to those food banks and the local communities in which we operate. So we'll have you know, people from our offices, our branches, go out, they'll deliver food to food banks, they'll help stock it, they'll help run it. And we get given time, paid time to go and do things like this. So it's kind of not in your own time, you can do it within work time, and things like that as well, just to make sure that we are kind of really, really helping with something more than just kind of your day to day. And then we have the 50 million tree pledge as well, which I can't remember exactly what year this came in. It was before I joined, but I think it was around that time, where we pledged $50 million over 50 years to plant 50 million trees. And we're quite a way into that again, but we're just trying to kind of give back and make sure that we're helping the environment and kind of the global footprint and things like that as well. And obviously we're working every day to make ourselves more sustainable as a business, move into electric fleets, hybrids, things like that, to make sure that we're lowering our carbon footprint as well as a business that is very conscious about things like that as well. If anyone has any questions, just as a reminder, if you want to put anything in the Q&A function, then please do, and we can come to it at the end. And my colleague that's kind of in the background, Sam, has just put a blog in that Keeley wrote about her experience as well, so it might be worth a read. So moving on from that, we pride ourselves, especially, you know, we really, really pride ourselves on being an inclusive employer and, you know, putting diversity at the forefront of what we do, especially in my team, where we're kind of hiring the next generation into the business. And we've kind of been rewarded for some of that hard work that we've been doing. So it's always worth a mention that we are in the top 75 employers for the Social Mobility Index, which obviously looks at kind of disadvantaged people from different backgrounds and things like that, and making sure that we're kind of helping them get into the world of work. We won the Recruitment Award in Ireland as well, and we've also been given an award for an exceptional workplace, and that was voted for by our employees. So there's a couple of testimonials that I won't read out, but if you want to have a quick read, these are by people that work for our business, that identify as disabled, and kind of how, you know, how they feel we've supported them on their journey as well. And we are a disability confident employer as well. And if there's anyone on the call that feels like they would need reasonable adjustments throughout the recruitment process, we really do urge you to write that on your application, just so we can help you be successful as much as we possibly can. Now, this is a really impressive stat that I like to talk about quite a lot. And when we think about who we hire into the business and the opportunities we've got, not just to come in at entry level and stay at entry level for years and years, but actually, if you look at this, it's kind of crazy. But last year alone, we had over 20,000 employees that were promoted or took on a new role or a new challenge within the business. And the reason we're able to do that is we're built solely on internal career progression. So you might come in as a graduate manager, you might come in as a placement student like Keeley did, but you've constantly got, you know where you're going with your next step. You know that what you need to do to get that next promotion. And, you know, everyone that kind of starts with enterprise moves quite quickly, as you've heard already from Keeley. You know, a couple of years ago, she was a student. In that time, she's been a campus brand manager. She's now an assistant manager of one of the branches. And by the end of this year, she's going to be a branch manager as well. So, you know, Keeley, you will be one of those numbers as well. But 20,000 employees that have been promoted. So if that is important to you and you're looking for a company where you're going to get recognized for your hard work and you're going to get promotion and progression constantly and not just get stuck in a role, then we might be someone that you might want to consider. And these are a couple of our awards that we've won. Before I'm going to talk about the management trainee scheme after this, but just so you know kind of the company here that you're here to learn about, we are in the Times Top 100 graduate employers. We are the winner of the Graduate Employer of the Year award by Target Jobs, which is fantastic. Such a big accolade, one that we're really, really proud of, that we're getting recognised for the amazing grad scheme that we run. And we're also the winner of the Rate My Placement Award as well. So #1 across all of the companies that you can think of. We ranked #1 on our graduate scheme and our placements scheme as well. So like I said, you know, do your own research, have a look at our website, but hopefully this will kind of give you a bit of confidence in the company that you're listening to right now. And if you are willing, you know, if you're wanting to kind of give it a go, then, you know, I'll tell you how to apply by the end of this presentation. So what you're here to kind of learn about is our management training program. So as I've kind of already alluded to, this isn't just a grad scheme, but we run this as well as a one-year placement. So if you're an undergraduate student that's probably just coming towards the end of your first year now, you'll be thinking about maybe if you are planning on doing a year in industry, you'll be thinking about that kind of when you go back to uni, September, October kind of time in applying for those one-year placement positions, which Keeley joined us on. We have it as a grad scheme, obviously, which I joined, and we also have different things like summer internships as well, which is kind of like a 12-week snapshot of what you do on a placement program. So there's lots and lots involved in the management training program. It doesn't matter how you join us as a placement student, as a grad, but basically we help, we guide. But what we want to give you by the end of it is an understanding of how to manage a successful multi-million-pound business, and teaching you how that operates and making you into kind of the leader that's able to lead a team, lead a full business, and everything that goes into that as well. And really looking at the core areas of the business, how to make it profitable, how to deliver exceptional customer service, how to be a good leader and develop your team and get them promoted. And there's tons and tons of things that is involved in this program as well. So there's loads of things that you'll learn, but we've kind of tried to squeeze it into 5 reasons why we think that it's a great program and that you should apply. The first one is actually having a business understanding. And some of you might be sitting here saying, well, I already have a business understanding. I did business management, or I do business management at university, or I've got work experience. But what we're able to do is put you in a business and allow you to have autonomy and decision making and things like that, and really, really give you that real world. You're looking after your own business, you're managing it how you see fit, you're making it profitable, and all of the things in between. And Keeley, I'm going to come to you because obviously you're doing this as your role and you get paid for making your business successful. So kind of talk to us, if you don't mind, about how your business understanding's developed.
Oh gosh, like yeah, I like came out from uni not knowing, having a clue how to run a business. I didn't know where to go, what to do. And then of course I became an assistant manager. I mean, before as a trainee, you you have responsibility of you've got debt you've got to look after, you've got HR that you look into, you've got risk, like you have all aspects of the business straight away. As a trainee, you have that responsibility. And then obviously as you become an assistant manager, I'm responsible for running my fleet now. Like I run my branch, I run the fleet, my customers, my trainees, like I'm in charge of everything. And if you'd have told me that 3 years ago, I'd have probably laughed because I didn't
Yeah.
have the confidence at all. And now here I am running my own team, and then hopefully end of the year run my own branch. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. Thank you. Obviously you're able to develop professional skills as well. So again, you guys on this call will have varying levels of experience, but you're able to really develop your professional skills as well. So put in maybe what you've learned at university into practice within a real business setting, really being able to hone in on and develop those amazing skills you will have already started to kind of pick up on and develop. But really using the people around you, mentors. Obviously, we have a great mentor scheme when you join, so you're able to learn from people around you. Obviously, you'll have your management team that are around you day to day, but we really, really encourage a lot of networking and mentoring and things like that to make sure that you're developing from lots of different people, from lots of different backgrounds and even lots of different teams. So not just the people that work in your branch, but I mentor people that work in the branches, and I'm able to give them my advice from when I did that role that they're doing, how I got to where, I got to, and really, really help them on their journey as well. And everyone, like as you move up the ranks, will have the opportunity to mentor someone coming through into the business as well. So you're able to give that kind of back to other people as well. You're able to really grow relationships, and there's a lot of relationships to be had at Enterprise. So you've obviously got your team, and it's quite a close-knit team, would you say, Keeley? Even though it's a really big business, you're working in quite a small branch with a small amount of people, so it can feel like very, very close, can't it?
Definitely, definitely. You're all like best friends working together in there.
Yeah, definitely. I still love my team now, but I always remember in the branches it was so close because you were with them people all day, and it was really great to be able to make friends as well. But you're also making you grow in relationships with different people as well. Like I said, we've got the mentor scheme. You've got access to a lot of senior leaders within the business, which can't be said for a lot of big businesses where walls are up when you're in a senior position. They've got an office, you don't ever see them, where we've very much got an open door policy. That's one of our values, is that our doors are open, and we just make sure that everyone's got access to everyone, and you're able to develop and grow your network and build your brand as well. But you're also able to grow relationships with external people. Customers, of course, is so important to us. We pride ourselves on excellent customer service, and we look for people through the recruitment process that also are passionate about customer service and growing relationships. And we have a lot of corporate business partners as well. So being able to go out to business meetings, to sales meetings and things like that, and really, really grow different types of relationships is, it's really, really positive. You also get a really good support system. I've spoke about this, so I won't take too much time, but you've got your mentors, you've got your day-to-day people that you would go to. Obviously, you've got HR, but you've also got different groups. So if you're a female that's worried about being in a male kind of dominated environment, then we've got female focus groups. We have women in leadership events. We have conferences and things like that I know, Keeley, you've been involved with quite heavily as well. We have BAME committees. We have disability committees. We've got a place, we've got social mobility committees where people can find other like-minded or, similar people to themselves. You're able to see role models that you align with, and it really helps, that support system around you and being able to meet different people, not just the people that you work with every day. And last but not least, Keely's already kind of hit this one on the head, but getting rewarded. We are an internal career progression company. We want to see you come in, learn, develop, grow, get promoted. When you get promoted, guess what? You're not stopping there. You're going to learn, you're going to develop, you're going to grow, and you're going to get promoted again. And that's kind of a never-ending cycle. And to show you that, we have this graphic here that kind of shows the traditional kind of route that you would take coming into the business as a management trainee and where you would go from there. So myself and Keeley both started as a management trainee right at the bottom where you can see. We aim to get to the management assistant level around 10 to 12 months in. That basically is an automatic promotion when you pass your training. So we have what we call a management qualification interview, where you have an interview when you've done your training folder. We basically test your knowledge, make sure you know what you're supposed to know. And if you pass that, you get an automatic promotion to management assistant. From there, you do get a little bit more responsibility, but really it's at that point that you start to look and apply for assistant manager roles, which is a really, really big step up, Keeley. I'm sure you'll agree that it's a huge step up.
Definitely.
Yeah. So when you become an assistant manager, as Keeley said before, you're looking after a whole team of people, you're looking after a multi-million-pound fleet. That's your responsibility. And as an assistant manager, you're the pivotal person in that branch. You're the person that everyone comes to ask, what's next? What do you want me to do? You know, what's my job for the day? You're the one managing the logistics side of the business, customers, who's having what car, all of the everything. So it's a really big step up in responsibility at that point. And your pay scales changes then as well. So you get paid off the branch income, obviously driving profit and things like that as well. You can be assistant manager in 12 months, believe it or not. So from joining as a management trainee, you can be an assistant manager looking after all of that responsibility that we've just mentioned at around 12 to 14 months in. And then you're looking at branch manager again, coming in traditional route of a graduate. You're looking at about 2.5 years in for being a branch manager. And that's looking after everything within that branch, the HR issues. You're looking after a team of people that you're able to develop and grow and get them promoted and make sure that you are, giving everything that you've learned to them. And there's a lot of other background things that branch managers deal with as well to make sure that they're running a successful business. 2 years in, like from a trainee to a branch manager, and you won't get that in many other companies where you can get such a big responsibility in such little time. From there, you can see it kind of stems off. And the reason for that is once you become a branch manager and you really understand everything that goes into running a business, you're able to, if you want to, step into different departments within the business. And this is exactly what I did. So I now sit within the human resources management team as part of the talent team. But if you decide, having been a branch manager, that you're really, really passionate about sales, for example, or that business to business marketing, or it could be the risk management side of the business, then if a job comes up and you like the sound of it and you think you've got the transferable skills necessary, you can then apply for a job in a different team within the organization. And before, when I talked about all those different brands that we have, Flexi Rent, Car Club, you're able to also move within different brands as well. So there's so much opportunity once you've become that branch manager to move into different departments. But a lot of people kind of have their eye on that as area manager. So if you follow the line, everyone kind of wants to get to that area manager position because that's where your really, really senior management comes in. You earn a lot of money. You're looking after 8 branches, more than 40 people under your kind of care, and you can grow from there as well. So every person that is an area manager currently started off as a management trainee, and they've worked their way up. Same as where you see right at the top of that ladder, vice president, general manager, they all started off on the management training program. So when you think, oh, how easy is this to actually obtain? Everyone in the business has done this, and we make it very kind of, you're able to take it at your own time. You can do it as fast or as slow as you're able to do. But everyone within our business has gone through this same path, which makes it an amazing environment, an amazing culture, because everyone kind of knows what you need to do to get through to that next step as well. And I'm sure, Keeley, you've got plenty of role models that you've seen and you kind of want to aspire to be as well.
Yeah, there's loads. I mean, when you have your area manager or your group rental manager coming in and they're like, what needs doing? And they're cleaning cars in the back for you, like the other week, what happened? Like they've all been there, they've all done it. And it's just, they all know what you've gone through. So it's great. We're all just one big team, really.
Yeah, you do what you do, what you need to do to get the job done, to progress, to get promoted, to earn some money, for sure. So what skills would you actually get? I'm going to kind of fly through these because Yeah, I have a habit of talking a lot. So we've only got 15 minutes left, and I do want to get to your questions. So the skills that you'll get or be able to develop, should I say, obviously, a lot of you will have already worked on these skills and have, communication, for example, but being able to communicate with lots of different people, as I said before, building connections, building relationships, it all goes into that communication. Customer service, so important. One of our values, customer service is our way of life. It really is. We wouldn't be the size of company that we are today if we didn't focus so much on customer service. And just a bit of a tip here, if you are planning to apply, we want to know about your customer service experience. We want to know how you have gone above and beyond for a customer, because that's what we'd expect if you joined us. We want to see how passionate you are about working with people and making people happy and making sure that we're going to get them customers coming back to us thinking we're the best thing ever. So customer service, you will definitely grow your skills there. Time management. Keeley, back me up. How much time management do you need as assistant manager?
Nowadays, if you didn't have it, your branch wouldn't run. So you definitely can't.
But that's definitely something that comes with time, I think, as well. You kind of really, you do develop that skill. As much as you think you've got it at the start, you find new ways to make yourself efficient.
Definitely.
Yeah. Leadership. Obviously, we're a management training program. We're going to train you up in management, in leadership, in being able to develop people and things like that. So that's definitely one of the skills that everyone will learn joining enterprise. Emotional intelligence. People kind of overlook this one, but it's so important when dealing with people, when managing people, when dealing with customers, that you have that emotional intelligence, being able to kind of understand where people are coming from and their background and things like that before you speak to them, understanding your team and understanding what motivates them and what's important to them is so important to be a successful leader. Marketing and sales, something that you do daily when you work in one of the rental branches, selling our products to customers, going out, kind of, finding new business, making sure kind of that we're profitable as a business, which obviously we are, but making sure that you're able to impact that as well. Problem solving. You definitely have some kind of hairy moments sometimes where a customer's come in, they might have broken down, and you need to solve a problem and you need to help that customer as soon as possible. And there's so many different examples I could give here of how you could develop your problem solving skills. But yes, definitely something that you will develop. And last but not least, adaptability. Being able to adapt to different situations, different locations, different sizes of teams, different communication styles. There's absolutely tons of different ways that you're able to adapt, and you need to kind of display that as you go through the grad scheme and as you progress through the company. Being able to show that you have the skill of adaptability it's really important. So this is our application process. Quite a short one considering, there's a lot of grad schemes out there that have you jumping through 10, 12 hoops before you get anywhere. With us, you apply online. We don't require a minimum grade or a specific subject. I studied drama and theatre studies at university, so you absolutely don't need to have a business degree to work in management. You just have to show us transferable skills that you might have. It might be a part-time job where you've worked with customers or something like that, or any other skills that you have developed and you're able to transfer them over to kind of what we're looking for. The application's just online. It doesn't take long at all to fill in, but we always recommend just filling in every gap as detailed as you can and don't leave anything blank. Once you've done that, one of my team will read through it. If we like what we see, we'll invite you to a virtual interview. So you'll understand and gain a deeper understanding of we will understand more about you and what experiences you have and how you kind of hit the competencies that we're looking for. So we'll ask you questions about your experiences, university, things that are important to you and things like that. And that's a one-to-one interview, nothing too scary, more of a conversation, so nothing to be too anxious about. And after that virtual interview, we've only got one more step, and that is a branch visit. So to those that obviously that probably doesn't mean much to some of you. It's like a day in the life of experience. So instead of kind of putting you in a simulated assessment center where we make you do weird tasks, we actually you go into one of the local branches. On a fully working day, you'll see staff doing the job, you'll see managers leading their team, you'll see people answering the phones and everything that is involved in doing that role. And it'll give you a really good, deep understanding of what you can expect if you're successful. And also just gives you an understanding of the culture, of the team environment that we've got, just gives you a really, really good understanding of who we are as a business and what's important to us. You're normally at the branch for 2 to 3 hours. You'll have an interview with the area manager who will meet you there, and we will then make our decisions on, whether we think you're a good fit for our company. And obviously then you make your decisions. Is this the right company for you? Do you like what you've seen? And then if we're mutually compatible, then we will hire you onto one of our schemes, depending on what you've applied for. We have start dates every month of the year, so we're not kind of tied into you have to start in September or you have to start in January like some other companies, but we're quite flexible depending on when you are available. So if you're kind of graduating in July and you want to start in August, then we'll look for an August start date. If you're looking to go traveling and you want to start in December, we'll look at that. We'll make sure we try to accommodate that. So we are quite flexible with our recruitment process. With that branch visit, I just thought, Keeley, if you wouldn't mind just giving a couple of tips there, because you obviously see people come into your branch on branch visits. What impresses you about good candidates that come through? Like, what do you like to see them doing?
I think interacting with the team straight away. I think saying hi to customers. It can be quite nerve-wracking, but we like to see that customer interaction. I'd say potentially as well, like when people are answering the phones, like just listen in. I think just be chatty, and it's just all about customers really.
Yeah. And asking questions as well, isn't it? It's like you might actually get the opportunity to kind of shadow someone within the branch, but make sure you talk to other people as well, not just the person that you sat with, but make sure you have a conversation with the branch manager and you ask them about their career or, any questions that might have arisen. Make sure you kind of direct them to different people, just to kind of show that you're really passionate and that you're really, really kind of interested in the role. But that's it. As I said, we're a 3-step process, really kind of fun, personable experience, no kind of pre-recorded interviews, all very nice. And we just assess you on, your personality, making sure that you bring in your authentic self to that interview and not trying to be what you think we're looking for, but actually just being yourself and shining, some of your skills and competencies that you've got as well. And that's kind of it for my presentation. So just to kind of show you, we are on all the social media channels. If you are seriously considering applying for some of our roles, then make sure you follow us on social media, because there's some really, really good industry insights on there. There's blogs, there's tons of information that will help you out through your interview process, and just making sure that it's the kind of company that you want to work for as well. But hopefully me and Keeley have done a good job and you actually do like the sound of what we've been saying. And last but not least, here is our careers website. So if you're in Ireland, the Ireland one's at the bottom there. We've got the UK one there. So if you type that into your web browser, you can browse the jobs, you can apply through that. You go on location. So if you're based in London, then you can search for London. You just apply for wherever you want to work and fill in the application form from there. If you want to connect, that QR code there will take you to my LinkedIn. More than happy to connect with any of you. And if you do have any questions that don't get answered here, feel free to send me a message. And I'm sure Keeley wouldn't mind if you wanted to connect with her as well.
Always.
But thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to stop sharing now so I can see the questions. And we've got about 4 minutes to answer any questions. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can see everybody. And I'm going to have a look at that Q&A. So someone's asked, does the company offer work visa sponsorship? Not a straightforward answer. But what you have to have when you join us is you have to have a 2-year graduate visa, which you will have had to obtain yourself. If you've got that 2-year graduate visa, then perfect, you can apply. And then we take it case by case. So when that 2-year grad visa ends, if you still work for us, then we will look to sponsor any visas that you might need after that. Somebody else has asked, undergoing, sorry, my master's degree program in management at Hertfordshire, be graduating in September. Oh, sorry, that was another question about sponsorship. So I hope I've answered that for you. Yes, the management training program is open to experienced people. Any experience is good experience. If you've got kind of customer service experience or sales experience or anything like that, we welcome you to talk about it on the interview, on your application form. But it is an entry-level position, so there might be people doing the same job as you that might have less experience. As long as you're okay with that, then absolutely, go for it. We've got another question. UK driving license mandatory. It is for the grad scheme and the placements. You do need to have a UK driving license, and the reason for that is you will not to get to work. You don't need your own car or anything like that, but you will on the day-to-day be going out and about. You'll have to drive our vehicles, to get to client meetings, to pick up customers, to go to other branches and things like that. So yes, a UK driving license is mandatory, unless of course you have a disability or a legal reason that you can't have a driving license. We just ask you to tell us up front, and we'll be able to put you through the application process the same as anybody else. So I just wanted to mention that. So that one's done. I'm just ticking them off as I go, so I know I've answered them. The salary range. So our grads start on 28,000 a year, slightly more in London. There is a lot of bonuses and incentives to earn alongside that. So that is your base salary, but then you've got customer service bonuses, you've got sales bonuses. We have an amazing employee referral scheme. There's tons of ways you can earn more within that first year. And then, of course, as I said, you're looking at a year, 14 months in, when you're an assistant manager, your pay scale changes and you get kind of percentage on your branch income, and that's how you really build your pay up. So I hope that's answered your question. And there's a big question here, so I'm just going to quickly scan through it, so I know I'm answering it correctly, because there's a few different points. Is it open to someone who is not a graduate? You graduated in 2015, so you are still a graduate. Yes, we would still consider people that have been graduated for quite a long time. We normally just see, what you've done in between that time, what experiences you've had, things like that as well, but you could still apply for the role. Cybersecurity or IT related positions. The grad scheme doesn't really cover anything like that. Specifically, we do have some roles on our website that might look into something a little bit more specific. So if you're looking for IT, I would recommend going on that careers website that I shared and just having a look at some of the other roles we might have in head office, for example, and seeing if there's anything there that kind of suits what you're looking for. Which location do you need to choose? You can choose whatever location you want. If you want to be based in Glasgow, then apply for a Glasgow job. If you live in London, but you want to relocate to Manchester, then you can apply for Manchester. It really doesn't matter, as long as kind of, obviously, when you get to that branch visit stage, you'd need to do your branch visit in that city that you want to work in, so you can meet the area manager and things like that. And last but not least, you spoke to a colleague at the jobs fair and asked about opportunities to work abroad. So obviously, I said before, we're in over 90 countries and territories. Each country will have their own grad scheme. It's run the same way as this, but you just need to apply for that country's grad scheme instead of applying for the UK one. Or if you were looking at moves further down your career, there are people that have started as a graduate in the UK, have worked their way up into a management position, and then have gone on to work in a different country and actually relocate with the company as well. So lots of different kind of opportunities, depending on when you're looking to work abroad, whether that's straight away or not. Okay, that's it from us. We've kind of ran out of time now. If anyone does have a question that I haven't been able to answer within the time, then please do connect with me on LinkedIn, send me an email, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But I just want to have a big thank you to everyone that's taken time out of the Thursday evening to come and join us. I hope it's been useful, and I want to thank Keeley as well for giving your insights as well. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you as a branch manager by the end of the year.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, everybody.